The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Monday, the 22nd day of September, 2025. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Linda's, People's Pharmacy, and a big shout out to HSBC Bermuda for ensuring that we can pump through the radio airwaves with these most important community conversations on Hot 107.5. I'm Jamal Hartman, and we'll have a news break from Simone Vaughn in a bit. How's everyone feeling today? It is Monday. Everybody's favorite day of the week except Sherry, right? How's everyone feeling? Did you do anything fun this weekend? I kind of did. That my spot, I didn't really leave there that much this weekend. My couch, watched a bit of football, both kinds, the kind where you actually use your foot and the kind where you catch the ball. So I did those things this weekend, but hopefully you had more fun than me. Hopefully you got outside. Suzanne Ingham, super awesome. Hot to trot Monday, she says, Jamal and Simone. What's hot to trot mean? Is that some cool lingo that all the cool people use and I don't know about it yet? What's hot to trot mean, Suzanne? I don't want to be like, oh yeah, same to you, and it's kind of something that's just really meant for Simone and myself. But anyway, super awesome Monday to you as well, Suzanne. And so, hit to go. So super awesome hit to go Monday. Man, you all come up with some lingo, man. You know what? I'm just gonna say, as I was saying just now, super awesome Monday to you as well. All righty. She said hot to go. Okay, hot to go, hot to go. Okay, we're gonna stick with hot to go, folks. We know what she means. All right, super awesome Monday to you as well. Well, greetings everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today, as we welcome the Information Commissioner of Bermuda, Jason Outerbridge, on the show. We're discussing, it's Right to Know Day coming up on September 28th, and we're going to be discussing public access to information, but also, excuse me, also they have an event coming up that you want to know about, celebrating 10 years of the Information Commissioner's office as well. So get your questions and comments ready. The daily play is Bermuda Trivia today. So yeah. Oh, you know what? We're going to give away some money as well. We're going to give away some money. So you want to stay tuned. The ICO office is going to be giving away a gift voucher to Linda. So you don't want to miss the chance to win that. I don't know about you, but getting a gift voucher with the price of things in Bermuda right now, no matter how much you make, it's worth the time. So stick around for that. Folks, don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. All right, today's questions. Here we go. What are your thoughts on the regulatory authority forcing major telecoms providers to cut prices and launch new entry-level packages by October 1st? And also, what other areas would you want the RA to address pricing? So you don't know what I'm talking about. So I'll give you a couple of hints. So basically, the short version, I hope this is the short version, the regulatory authority has issued new rules requiring telecom providers to introduce new entry-level packages and reduce prices from October 1st. Now, we've seen this in the Royal Gazette. So just to kind of give you a quick breakdown. So the maximum rates will be $80 per month, right? For 100, I believe Mbps is megabytes, fixed broadband, 20 megabytes upload, whatever all this means, and $50 a month for mobile plans with at least 10 gigabytes of data per the exec. Now, major providers with market power, so that would be like your Digicells or One Communications. This is where it gets real interesting. They must file quarterly performance reports starting February 28th, 2026. And there will be annual price reviews each August through 2028, with changes taking effect in October. Some existing plans are well above the new caps. So Paradise's 10 gigabyte plan at $67 and LiveNet's 2 gigabyte plan at $75. Larger bundles also exceed benchmarks, right? Now, let's discuss some pros and cons about this and why this should matter to you, because I guarantee, well, let's ask the question, audience, do you have Digicel or One, like who do you have, who's your cell phone provider? Just let us know in the audience who your cell phone and internet provider is. Let us know real quickly. And I'm going to go through some pros and cons of what the RA is doing here. So some of the pros is, yes, obviously, lower cost for consumers, right? That's a direct benefit to people who pay high rates. They'll now see cheaper entry-level plans, right? So it will help ease cost of living for households, especially lower income families or seniors. We know that cost is a pro. Another pro could be the increased competition, like pressure on the big players, like new rules force incumbents to rethink pricing, which could open space for smaller providers to compete or introduce better offers, right? So performance reporting could push companies to improve service, reliability, customer support. Transparency and accountability, that's another pro. Mandatory reporting, right? The metrics and the price overview, it'll bring oversight, right? Now, they have to report this to the RA. I'm guessing or thinking that it might be public, but it caps to ensure fairness and prevent price gouging, which Bermudians have spoken about for years about different industries. Now, the other thing, pro, is that if telecom costs drop, then overall bills drop, right? Plus, with greater competition, efficiency might increase, leading to innovation, better infrastructure investment, right? All right, now there are always cons. There's going to be some challenges, folks. There are going to be some challenges. There are always cons. No matter how good something sounds or feels, there will always be cons. The potential impact on service quality or investment. Providers may have less margin to invest in network upgrades, improving underserved areas, or rolling out new technology. The risk of cost cutting affecting customer service, right? So they may say, oh, well, we don't have the funds anymore to provide certain levels of customer service. So there's going to be no one local anymore. We're going to send it overseas. Smaller or niche providers could be squeezed, right? Now, what that means, I remember when I got into tourism and people would complain about the prices of the bigger hotels. They're saying, well, that gives the smaller hotels a chance. It's when no one comes and they lower their rates, it makes it harder for the smaller ones, right? Smaller and niche providers could be squeezed out. If price caps are too low, small providers may struggle financially or be pushed out. And that can create less variety in service options. The implementation issues, changing systems, reworking contracts, managing legacy plans above price caps might cause confusion or delays. We need strong monitoring and enforcement to ensure compliance. So what are some other things? Well, potential pushback and legal challenges, right? That's real, folks. Potential pushback and legal challenge. Like, I don't know. This could, I mean, it's almost like government getting in the way a private enterprise, right? No. So I don't know. I think this is going to be interesting. Any lawyers out there want to kind of get in on this? But I'm thinking job losses. I'm thinking legal challenges. But let's talk about something else that may go over everyone's head. Implications for smaller businesses competition. While smaller internet and telecom firms may find greater opportunity with price caps, right? They may also have a less capacity to absorb lower margins or meet regulatory compliance. Could encourage innovation, bundled services, better customer service, niche plans for specific audiences. I don't know, folks. In the beginning, you want to celebrate this. You want to think this is great. But is it really? I asked, who do you have? Suzanne Ingham says 1. Manuela John says 1. Tanya Cheeseman says 1. Alan Kate Horton says Digicel. Polly Rich says Digicel. Folks, this is your daily discussion brought to you by Titan and Secure. And we are asking you, what are your thoughts on the regulatory authority forcing major telecom providers to cut prices and launch new entry level packages by October 1st? And also, what areas would you want the RA to address pricing? What other areas? Well, Charles H. Jefferson II, he says, Paradise, I love the unlimited data locally and when traveling. Dr. Anthony Richardson says, Digicel for me, it's timely. Pricing has been dropped through the roof for many years with no real justification. I question how effective will the RA enforcement be. Okay, fair. Polly Rich says, don't understand it all, but anything that helps to lower cost, I'm for. I feel like lowering the cost may come with a cost, right? As someone mentioned, jobs, right? Sean Smith says it right here, possible job losses. Dr. Anthony Richardson says, downside, people may lose their jobs due to less revenue available for the providers. It's interesting because we should be celebrating this, right? The other thing is, do we have a free market? Do we really want the regulatory authority getting involved when the consumer has the right to already, they could go to a smaller firm if they choose. I know people are saying, well, some of these firms have contracts. Contracts aren't forever. And I know in the US, some companies actually pay the cancellation fee of new clients. Maybe that's something to consider. So what are your thoughts, audience? What are your thoughts on the regulatory authority forcing major telecoms providers to cut prices and launch new entry-level packages by October 1st? And what other areas would you want the RA to address pricing? What other areas do you believe that I'm surprised no one has said Belka. I'm surprised no one has said Belka. And why the telecoms first versus Belka, which I think are legit questions. I think we all should watch this closely to see how it plays out. Because as I sit back and I think about this, are they going to start doing this with banks? Are they going to start doing this with insurance companies? Are they going to start? I think, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, do they do this with pharmaceuticals already? Because I don't think the regulatory authority oversees like pharmaceutical or health. I think that's what's that industry called? The Bermuda Health Council. But do we really want this? I mean, is this a case of be careful what we ask for? Think about it, folks. It sounds all good on the surface, but is it really what we desire? Is it really what we want? Charles H. Jefferson II, he says, I think everyone would like for them to do something about our largest utility expense, electricity. I hope they've already done all they can do to ensure consumers are getting the the maximum benefits. Yeah. Belko is the first one that came to mind for me when I saw this. Well, why haven't they done? And maybe Charles is right. Maybe, hopefully they've done all they can in that space. Michael Daniels says providers may look to the government for relief of their fixed experiences. So you mean they'd look to us because we are the government? You mean the taxpayers' dollars? So the taxpayers will still end up paying. Is that what you mean, Michael Daniels? Paulie Rich says, yes, it's a vicious cycle, but what do we do? Someone or something has to lose out. I mean, if we want a free market or a capitalist market, it's tough. It is a vicious cycle. What do we do? I mean, I get why we would celebrate something like this because on the surface, it sounds great. Oh, entry level is only this. And I think the idea for this, as one of my colleagues said, is so that everyone can have access to the internet or mobile service. Like at the end of the day, we live in a time where access to the internet has almost become a human right because that's where most information that people need is shared. No longer is it in books or in newspapers, right? It's the internet. I mean, it's how people, doctors are communicating with us through email and portals, right? You get it. This is your daily discussion brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. Again, audience, let us know. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the regulatory authority forcing major telecoms providers to cut prices and launch new entry-level packages by October 1st? And also, what other areas would you want the RA to address pricing? WKD Llama says, isn't Belco already regulated? Regulation on bank fees will be nice. Well, that's why I think Charles said earlier, WKD Llama, hopefully they've done all they can do with Belco. Belco is regulated. Every time you look, there's something. But I think, when people see this cutting prices or entry level, finding a way to do that. I put on social media this weekend, Ticketmaster, right? I don't know if you all follow what's happening with Ticketmaster in the US, but the government has been cracking down on them, and apparently there are people wanting to file lawsuits. Ticketmaster had all these hidden fees previously, right? And now, like, I purchased some tickets to go to a comedy show because you all I love comedy shows because I'm actually a comedian as well. I one day I'll be on stage myself having my special on Netflix. But anyway, that's another show. But all that to say, I purchased two tickets, and I was just like, I went to go to Josh Johnson next weekend. So my stepmom actually shared something with him about me months ago on TikTok. He's funny guy. And I was looking at the price and I'm just like, man, the taxes and fees were more than the price of one ticket. Now, see, before ticket price, like you'll get to the end and you'll see the fees, but now they'd be like, taxes and fees included. That still doesn't make it any better to me, but that's a step in the right direction. But the fee, and I share that because someone said this weekend that that's like their Belco bill, feel like the taxes and fees or fuel adjustment, whatever it is more than the actual bill. Something has to give. But I go back to what Polly Rich said. It's this vicious cycle. Ellen K. Horton, Ms. Horton says, can each of us help in lowering our Belco bills? How many of us turn lights off when leaving a room? How many of us have TVs playing to the room? Now, I don't know how much electricity those things actually use. And you all, you've called me cheap. Some people use nicer words like frugal. But I'll never forget this, man. When it comes to my air conditioning and heat, if you're hot, my place ain't the place you want to be in. And when it comes, if you're cold in the winter, bundle up, bring your fluffy stuff and put it on. Because I'm serious about that. I got a small little heater. I got my small little fan next to me mornings when I'm on the show. I don't play with these utility companies. I know what they're about. But I agree with Ms. Ellen K. Horton because we can play a role in combating that. I think our privilege, right, of knowing that we have access to certain things makes us feel like we're too hot. Now, I'm a man. I know that, ladies, you go through some things and, I can play fair when you're in my space for less than a certain amount of time. But after that, I have to be like Belco and charge you a fee. I'm joking. Well, I am for, the show's sake. Polly Rich says, don't they already regulate Belco? Can't think about any other venture they need to look at. Okay. Not banking fees or anything. Insurance. We've got Sean Smith says, what is the government doing to increase the population so the cost can be spread? Well, I mean, we had a minister on recently. They always say they're doing something, but that probably would be a better focus, right, Sean Smith? All right, folks, we've got to show some love. We've got a guest coming up, but I'll go through these last few comments. Charles H. Jeffers II says, what I don't recall seeing in that article was where was consultation with the entire cell phone industry, not just the large providers. I hope this regulation wasn't done in a vacuum. Yeah, because you have Paradise, you have LiveNet, you have B-Mobile, right? Hopefully everyone was involved in the process. Rhonda Trott says, I'm with banking fees. Where's BMA? Banks raise interest rates at the drop of a hint of USA interest rates increase. So far, the USA has cut interest rates and Clarion hasn't moved. It's disgusting. Kathy Del Haywood Ring says, being cheap means money in your pockets. Suzanne Ingham says, who called you cheap or frugal? Well, they are very naughty. And Polly Rich says, I'm with you, Jamel, hot in summer, bundle in winter. Thank you for that as well with Rhonda Trott about BMA. I mean, you got Bermuda Health Council, you got Regulatory Authority. I just think consultation, I don't want to ignore what Charles said, is an important part of the process, right? And I think that we, while all this sounds great on the surface, conversations need to be had. At the end of the day, are the majority of the people going to benefit from this? That should be top of mind. And if they are, let's rock with it. If they aren't, let's rethink it. But hopefully the decision, I'm going to want to believe that it was made with the industry stakeholders as part of the conversation. I hope that works. Maybe I'm being a bit naive and hopeful, but I get like that sometimes. Folks, let's show some love to Titan Express and Secure. In the meantime, make sure you give us a like if you're streaming on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, X, or Instagram. Give us a like, love, follow, share the conversation with your friends, your family, your colleagues. We're going to show some love to Titan Express and Secure. Then we'll go to the news with Simone Vaughn. And we've got a very special guest coming up after the break. We've got the new Information Commissioner, Jason Outerbridge. And this is another important conversation, because a lot of people have a lot of questions about a lot of things. And a lot of people don't know that you can get a lot of answers by filing a PATI request.
The Daily Discussion is brought to you by Titan Express and Secure. Visit TitanEXBDA.com, your leading tour and transport provider specializing in Black History tours throughout the island. And SecureBDA.com for all your property management, waste management, residential, and commercial trucking needs. Professional, punctual, and reliable service is our commitment to you.
All righty. Let's go to Simone Vaughn for your Daily Hour News Break.
Good morning, Bermuda. Today's news is brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Mondays can be busy. At People's, parking is free and easy. Pick up prescriptions, grab beauty finds, or shop for gifts and home essentials. All in one stop, no parking hassle. Starting off today's news, Bermuda police officers stopped 2 speeding motorcycles on Harrington Sound Road, Smiths, this past Friday and conducted a search under the 315F of the Criminal Code. One rider was found with a 6-inch knife and arrested for possession of a bladed article in public, while the other was arrested for riding a stolen motorcycle. Earlier that day, around 9:15 a.m., another man was arrested on Canal Road after a knife was found in his bike storage. He has since been bailed. Acting Chief Inspector Anthony Smith emphasized Bermuda Police Service's commitment to tackling bladed weapon offenses through increased stop and search efforts to enhance public safety. Continuing with our news for today, a 19-year-old male has been arrested in connection with the murder of 37-year-old Janae Miners, who was fatally shot inside her beauty supply store, Beauty Monsters, in Pembroke on the afternoon of September 16, 2025. The suspect is also linked to the attempted murder of an 18-year-old male who was shot at a private residence in Devonshire on September 10, 2025, and is currently recovering. Police investigations are ongoing, and authorities are urging anyone with information to come forward by contacting investigators directly or through the confidential Crime Stoppers line. Last in the news for today, Tropical Storm Gabriel, the 7th named storm of the 2025 Atlanta hurricane season, is expected to strengthen into a Category 1 or 2 hurricane as it moves northward through the central Atlantic toward Bermuda. While it is not expected to make direct landfall, Bermuda may experience high surf, rip currents, and some rain bands early in the week. Meanwhile, another disturbance has just emerged off the coast of Africa and is being monitored for potential development. Now it's time to take a look at the forecast. For the weather today, we're looking at a high of 83 degrees and a low of 81. The chance of precipitation is currently at 60% with showers expected throughout the day. That's all for the news break today. My name is Simone Vaughn, and thanks for tuning in.
All right. Thanks so much for that, Simone. Well, days of the year. I guess we're going to go with, it's quite a few. And it's World Free Car Day. It's a World Free Car Day. That means do whatever you got to do without your car. That's pretty hard when you live in a, place where you probably need a car. Anyway, is today the first day of fall? Hold on, let me double check. I want to make sure. Is today the first day of fall, folks? When does fall begin? Autumn. Yeah, it's today. What's it called? Autumn equinox. Yeah, today is the first day. So let's do this. What's your favorite thing to do in my favorite season? It's everyone's favorite season. It should be. I mean, it's the best weather. Unlike spring, you don't really have to worry about allergies like spring with the flowers blooming and all that. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. It's just right. So what is your favorite thing to do in the autumn time? I'm going to be honest with you. Everything about it. I don't have the AC on. I ain't got the heat on. Well, that's a normal day for me. But you get my point. Also, it's pumpkin season. It's pumpkin season. So I got my pumpkin cookies, right? I've got my muffins. What's Dexter Smith says? Autumn. We know. What are you talking about? What's your favorite thing to do in the autumn? Come on, give it to us. What do you love? I like the fall leaves. I miss New England. Living in New England, it was one of the most beautiful things to see the foliage during the fall. Autumn in New England is probably the most beautiful place I've ever lived. And then comes the beast. Yeah, that was the only downside, the beast that came after autumn in New England. But I love the foliage. I know in New England, people do apple picking and stuff like that. I don't know if they really do that in the South. Anyone who lives in the South or been in the South, let me know, but they do a lot of apple picking and the like pumpkin patches and stuff like that. So those were some cool things to do in the autumn time. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break. Don't forget, after this break, get your questions, your comments ready. We've got the Information Commissioner, Jason Outerbridge, coming on, and we're going to be discussing 10 years of Patty. This was legislation pushed by former Premier Alex Scott, a legacy. We often speak about what legacy is each premier tied to. This is his legacy. We're going to be speaking about the upcoming event, Right to Know Day, and this year's theme. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a few.
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHB staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
Ready to take your financial game to the next level? HSBC is here to help you power up your financial fitness. Your strategy should be sharp and ready for anything, because luck won't get you to the top. Whether securing your future, growing wealth, or planning for life's next serve, HSBC's experts are here for you. From budgeting to investing, let's craft a plan as unique as your goals. Plus, get free financial planning consultations to stay on track. Learn more at hsbc.bm/financial planning. HSBC Bank Bermuda is licensed to conduct banking and investment business by the Bermuda Monetary Authority.
Take a look at our workwear for construction workers and tradesmen. Durable, stretchable in all the right places, and plenty of options for tools and accessories. Paired with our wide range of tough and comfortable footwear, you can't go wrong. As you can see, Medical House really is a one-stop shop for everybody. We can't wait to see you.
See it all at our new expanded location on Bakery Lane.
Discover Drop It, your go-to grocery delivery. Browse and select from a wide range of groceries, from fresh produce to daily essentials. Our friendly drivers deliver fresh groceries to your door fast, saving you time and hassle. With Drop It, you get fresh groceries delivered fast, so you can focus on what really matters. Drop It, freshness at your doorstep, delivered to your door with Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
Get ready for the cool Bermuda nights ahead. A CI-AC mini-split AC unit from BAC Group is the perfect solution, keeping you warm this winter and cool all summer long. While supplies last, you can get a unit starting at just $913.50. Plus, receive an extra 10% off when you pay with cash or credit card at the counter. BAC Group, comfort for every season.
SCARS stands for Saving Children and Revealing Secrets, and we are a Bermuda nonprofit organization whose mission is to reduce the risk of child sexual abuse and to be an advocate and a voice for children who've been sexually molested, as well as their affected family. New media like the Daily Hour is really important in partnering with organizations like SCARS. It's another platform for us for awareness. There can be no radio silence as it relates to child sexual abuse, and we need as many initiatives as we can get. We need to keep this message alive. In terms of us and the work that we do, live engagement is good because it allows the audience to ask questions, to make comments, even to provide us with encouragement and support. What I love about the live engagement when SCARS is being interviewed by Jamel is just this feeling of safety, this feeling that he gets it. He cares about children. It's a connection.
Welcome back to the big show. Jamel Hartman here. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lindo's, People's Pharmacy, and a big shout out to HSBC Bermuda for ensuring that we can pump through the radio airwaves with these most important community conversations on Hot 107.5. Folks, please don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. All right. Before we went to break, we said it's the first day of autumn today, and we've got Kathy Dell here with me. Says autumn's fresh air is what she loves most about it. Dr. Anthony Richardson says enjoy visuals from the change of season. Use time to plan for winter. Select sweaters. Okay, fashionista. Suzanne Ingham says, I can breathe in the fall. Summer, I'm struggling to breathe. The glue, humidity, air. I get you, sister. Charles H. Jeffs II says, yes, they do apple picking, pumpkin patches, and corn mazes in the Atlanta area. Okay. All right. All right, folks, without further ado, let's give a warm, and don't forget, we've got a giveaway coming up. So you want to give an extra warm welcome to our guest for the day, because it's coming with gifts for you. Jason Outerbridge, the Information Commissioner.
Good morning,
Greetings,
Jamal.
sir. How are you?
Good morning. Good to be with
How
you.
are things? Let me. The crowd's going crazy for you this morning. I'm sorry about that. How are you?
Doing well. We're blessed in Bermuda. Looks like we're not going to be affected by Gabrielle, so we're, thanking God. And
that made me smile. It really did.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking it was going to be a different Monday, and then things happened in our favor. Well, first of all, thanks for doing this. I got to ask you, before we get into the conversation, do you have a favorite season?
Favorite season? Probably fall. I agree. Fall. It's the time when you get to wear more clothes and, feel more comfortable as far as temperature. So you can kind of self-regulate better in the fall. And then the water's still warm enough. You can, still go dip your toes in if you feel like it.
Indeed. I told people, I put it up on social media yesterday. I asked, there's only one right answer to the best season on the calendar. But thank you so much for doing this. And I think this is your first time. So congratulations on, the role as only the second information commissioner that Bermuda has had. But just for the audience's sake, just share with the audience a bit about your background and what it is that you've done that's led you to this current position.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you. It's been a long journey. I'm obviously from Bermuda. I was born and raised here, proud graduate of the Berkeley class of '94. Yes. And so what's led me to come to the Information Commissioner's office is when the Petty Act first came into operation in 2015, I was actually the first Assistant Information Commissioner. And I did that for a few years and then moved on into central government and did some work with Ministry of Legal Affairs, on to doing work with the Law Reform Commission. And now it's a return home to something I'm very passionate about, which is access to information. So I am the second Information Commissioner for Bermuda. I am in the wake of a very strong Information Commissioner that we had in the previous commissioner, Gitanjali Gutierrez. And we now have the ability to continue her legacy and also build better capacity and strength for the right here in Bermuda.
Absolutely. Big shoes to fill, but we are confident that you will do it. But let's speak about it. You just mentioned 2015. So the ICO is celebrating 10 years. What do you see as its biggest achievement so far?
Well, it's not just the ICO celebrating 10 years. It's Bermuda and the citizens and people of Bermuda celebrating 10 years of having the right of access to public information. And that's something worthwhile to celebrate because it's not a given that right exists in small jurisdictions. We're very blessed to have a robust system here in Bermuda, and the right is pretty well secure as far as when we compare to our Caribbean neighbors, for example. So we're really happy and proud for how far we've come. And we're proud of the people who've used the Act. We believe there's about 25% of Bermudians who've actually taken the time to make a PATI request. And that's a pretty live statistic. And we're really proud of that number.
Indeed. Thank you for that. Audience, if you have any questions or comments for Commissioner Outerbridge, please send them through. We'll get through as many as possible. Again, these conversations are, as he mentioned, it's for the citizens. They're for you, so that you can have the information you need to hold people accountable. September 28th is recognized globally as the International Day for Universal Access to Information. Can you explain why is access to information such an important right for Bermudians?
Well, looking globally, the United Nations has recognized the right to access information as a human right. And so for Bermuda, we want to always be looking at how we meet international best practices and standards And so it was really important for our government to bring the Petty Act into operation. It's a tool of democracy. It helps citizens be engaged with how decisions are made on their behalf, to hold public officials to account, and also to shift their culture to openness, that government records shouldn't be held secretly, that anybody who has an interest can go and ask, make a petty request, and then find out information that's of benefit to them so they can be better engaged citizens, move about their life and interactions with public authorities in a way that means the most to them and has the best impact on their life.
And this year, your theme is the power of public information in the digital age. What exactly does that mean for Bermuda?
So for Bermuda, the power of access to information in the digital age is really looking at the amount of information that's proactively disclosed already by the government and public authorities on the websites, right? As a public tool, you can go on the gov.bm portal, for example, and you'll find loads and loads of valuable information that is proactively disclosed by the government and put online for citizens to use, to access, and to understand what's happening on their behalf. We can also look towards digitization of government. A lot of government services are now moving to online platforms. The government has probably about 200 or so online forms and services that are accessible to the public. So people can just go to the gov.bm portal and do and the government's doing better at putting more things on the website. And it's just information that's already there. And how do we keep pace with that information? How do we make sure the information is accessible, reliable, and timely for the needs of the population?
Thank you for that. Before we get into what's coming up, petty request. That's what a lot of people know the ICO office for. The ICO office has done a tremendous job over the years explaining, breaking down videos, how to file a petty request and the like. And the former commissioner used to always say, folks, if you can write it on a social media post, you can file a petty request, because again, we know that people love, people love to run to social media and these lists rather than, ask in a proper way. Can you just explain to our audience why a petty request is something that benefits them?
Yeah, so a great example that you gave, really, if you have an underlying question that you just can't seem to let go of, go and make a petty request. That's what we advise people. Something sparks your interest in relation to a question. Let's use the regulatory authority as you were talking about earlier. There's loads of public records that may be accessible in relation to the decision that the regulatory authority has made to put that demand on service providers to reduce their fees, right? So when you had all those questions in relation to how it might affect the market, those are factors that they perhaps considered. And so the public might want to ask for records related to that. And we wouldn't just wait for the media per se to make the requests. Every citizen is empowered to make the request. Let's not wait for other people to act on our behalf. Let's act as, citizens that are engaged and wanting to participate in democracy.
You absolutely did what I hoped you would do just now. And audience, I hope the audience understood what I did. And I want people to really hone in on what you said just now, folks. Petty request makes you accountable for the information that you desire. Meaning, we don't have to criticize the Royal Gazette or the Bermuda Broadcasting or any medium or us because you don't know something. You literally can go and file a petty request. It's on each and every one of us. This is the responsibility of being a citizen or a resident or a Bermudian. You have the option, you have the right to know. You don't have to wait on the media. That is something I don't think we understand, that we probably take for granted, or truthfully, just don't care enough. We want everything to do it for us. But I asked that question simply because I wanted to remind people that you don't have to, like in previous times, traditionally, you don't have to wait on the media to tell you when you have access or the opportunity to go and seek the information yourself. So thank you, Commissioner, for sharing.
Correct. Yeah. And a great example is when we think of the West End Warriors, right?
Yep.
They came together. It was very organic how they came together to address an issue that they felt they were impacted by, the government's decision to close West End Primary, right? And they used the PADI Act to make requests and to find out information about the process around the policy development, consultation, expert advice, those kinds of things related to how the government came to decide that that school of all the other schools should be chosen to be closed. And as a result of their advocacy, the government retracted and changed their decision. So that's the PADI Act operating live by people who perhaps didn't even think that they would ever have to make a PADI request, but the issue came, they were impacted by it, and they started the process. All it takes is just to ask.
There you go. Folks, we all have a role to play. Audience, I'll get to the questions and comments. Keep sending them through. I'll get to as many as possible. But I want to speak about coming up on September 26th, the ICO is hosting a public panel at the Bermuda Underwater Exploration Institute. It's going to focus on environmental justice and housing. Why these two areas specifically, and who will some of the panelists be?
Yeah, great. Well, the International United Nations theme is the power of public, ensuring access to information in the digital age related to environment. So that's the starting point. So we try to make the Bermuda theme align with the global theme around environmental issues. In other jurisdictions, they might have specific laws that address environmental records or information. We don't have the similar thing here in Bermuda, but our PADI Act is robust enough to cover environmental information and records. So we decided to make our topic the power of information as it relates to environmental justice and housing, because those two issues intersect. And sometimes it's lost the intersection that housing is a right and there are environmental impacts on housing. So that's what we hope to unravel in the discussion with the panel that we have on Friday. And some of the panelists that we brought together, they're really just across the spread of stakeholders involved in the PADI Act. So we have a representative from the media, who's going to be Sarah Leggin. We have a representative from the Department of Planning, Victoria Cordero, who's the director there. We also have Diane Elliott from the Land Valuation Department. And we've also included some persons from the charitable sector. So we'll have the Chief Executive Director of Home, which is Denise Carey, and we also have Aaron Critchlow from Bermuda is Love. And when the public comes, we do hope that they will come and hear how these different stakeholders are engaged with using public information to drive the policy, the social policy, towards some of the services they deliver for the wider population, and just to understand where information gaps might lie and how they can all work together to fill those information gaps so that we can come towards some solutions for some of the environmental issues that we face and also the housing challenges that, you know, we hear about, and it's really just top of mind for most people.
Thank you for sharing that. And one of the goals of this year's event is to talk about combating disinformation. What role can access to official public information play in pushing back against false or misleading narratives, especially in a small place or community like Bermuda?
Wow, that's a good question. So disinformation really is when you're getting information from unofficial sources. So for example, in Bermuda, you know, the phenomenon of being in the chat groups or what's being circulated on social media, sometimes that information can cause harm to people because it's disinformation. But we also caution that when we talk about official information, we look at that term as broadly as possible. So anything you see on the government portal, for example, is government information. It's not necessarily all official information in relation to how we would traditionally define official information. But we would encourage the public to use critical thinking skills. Know the source. Is your source credible and reliable? If you still have questions, even if it's information that comes from the government, a public authority, or the media, if you still have questions, then make a PATI request and ask for records that underline how that issue or topic is being framed in the records or information that's publicly available.
All right. Let's go to the audience. Got a couple of questions. Well, first off, Dr. Anthony Richardson says, congratulations on your new appointment, Jason. Is the ICO looking to have town hall or public events to make more Bermudians aware of how PATI can assist them?
Great question from Dr. Anthony Richardson, and thanks for your congratulations. Bermuda, we're lucky that the PATI Act in Bermuda is really well known and recognized amongst the population. We have a survey results that say 87% of Bermudians and residents know about their rights under the PATI Act and find that those rights or feel that those rights are valuable to them. So with that said, our focus in when we do outreach, we, for example, have been running monthly sit-ins at the Bermuda National Library, where if you want to make a PATI request and you feel like you just don't know where to start, myself and one of our team members will be have been in the Bermuda National Library taking appointments so that people can come and get some help to start to make a PATI request. Town hall meetings are more on the order of something that government officials do when they're developing policy. But for us, we try to keep our events more I guess small, because we also want to protect the confidentiality of requesters.
Understood. Let's go to Charles H. Jeffers II. He says, I find it disappointing that we need an ICO, but since we do, how can we suggest things we would to see readily available online? For me, I would love to see quarterly financial records online.
Well, having an independent oversight body like an Information Commissioner's Office is actually the international standard. So we do need to have someone independent to review the decisions of public authorities when they decide not to disclose public records. Now, as it relates to quarterly financials, we lead by example and we publish our quarterly financials on our website. Other public authorities do the same. It's not a standard requirement, but it is good governance and good administrative practice. So if there's a particular public authority that you're interested in their quarterly expenditure, then make a PATI request and you can ask them. And hopefully that PATI request will guide them to proactively publish that information in any event going forward.
We've got Ms. Ellen Kate Horton says, please state the date and time of the event. And I've just put it on screen, Ms. Horton. So not sure if you can see that, but I'll let the commissioner share the details with you as well, if that's hard for you to see.
Yeah, it's going to be Friday, 26 September at BUEI, and we're going to start at 5:30 and run till 7 p.m.
All righty. So 5:30 this Friday, folks. Let's go back to the audience. And folks, don't forget, we have a giveaway coming up, so you don't want to miss this. Michael Daniels says, it appears that democracy is under attack in some countries. How does the ICO help to keep individuals from imposing a non-democratic agenda?
Oh, tough question. I think that's outside of our scope. Our mandate is really looking at spreading awareness of the public's right to access information, making sure that disclosures are made to the greatest extent possible under the law, and making sure that we give guidance for good practice for public authorities as they handle information and make information publicly available. So yeah, we don't really have an angle to be able to address that issue specifically.
Gotcha. And Rosalind Fame is just responding to Charles's comment. Every society should have an ICO. I'd be more concerned about anywhere that doesn't have one. Well, I think Charles's point was saying that how I feel about charity, right? I always say this. While I appreciate charities and the people who run them and work for them, I believe in a fair and just world, there'd be no need for charity. I think that's Charles's point with the Information Commissioner. He's saying in a fair and just place, we should have no need for an Information Commissioner's office. So I get his point, but we do have one and we need to make the most of it because of the need. He's saying, actually, he can speak for himself. Charles H. Jefferson II says, my comment was more about governments everywhere not being automatically transparent. I would like to see the overall government quarterly financial statements. There.
Okay.
All right.
So Mr. Jeffers should make a petty request to a public authority that's central to recording the expenditures across the entire government.
There you go. So we're going to do a giveaway. And before we do the giveaway, should anyone want to reach out to your office, learn more maybe about patty requests, or just have a better understanding of how things operate, how can they get in touch?
The best way to get in touch with us is via our website, ico.bm, and we have contact links on that website, or you can just shoot us an email, info@ico.bm.
Alrighty. Let's do some giveaway. Audience, get ready. This is your opportunity to win a $50 Lindo's voucher. All right. So I'm going to let the commissioner ask the question, and the first person to answer correctly will win a $50 voucher. All right. So
so here we go. Right. So we're calling this a digital information scavenger hunt. And we're going to be running these questions all throughout the week and into next week on our social media. And we have some prizes for the winners. So for this morning's question is, the Ministry of Public Works and Environment recently ran a public consultation on the Southlands Park development. Now here's the question. What is the name of the platform where public comments on the Southlands proposal were captured? Again, what is the name of the platform where public comments on the Southlands proposal were captured?
Let's see if, Commissioner, let's see if everyone's paying attention. Should we give them a hint or two?
I think your audience is really clued in from what I can tell on the quality of the discussion. So I think,
you know what,
I think you have some keyboard warriors amongst them who'll be able to get that information really quick.
Yeah, I think, well, we've got Nigel Burgess says forum.gov.pm.
Oh, well, there you go. Nigel Burgess. Ding, ding, ding. That didn't take long at all. We made it too easy. We made it too easy for you.
Well, Nigel, send us an email to engage@thedailyhour.com so we can get your details. You got it correct. He knows what he's talking about, so you can get your $50 voucher. Nigel, send us an email ASAP. Polly Rich, you got it as well. Well, you got forum.gov. You forgot the .bm part. But Commissioner, before you head out, thank you so much for stopping by. And I just want to say, please don't be a stranger. I think these conversations have to be ongoing rather than just once a year when it's Right to Know Day. So thank you for the work that you and your office are doing. And please let us know at any time if there's anything that you'd like us to communicate with our audience. Please do not hesitate to reach out.
Certainly. And thanks for having me this morning. And thanks to your listening audience for engaging and participating. And congratulations to someone who just won $50 Linda's voucher. We hope to see you on Friday.
Thanks much. Talk soon, sir.
All right. Thank you.
All right, folks, if you appreciated that conversation, yes, we'll get him again. Suzanne says, please come again, Mr. Outerbridge. Yes, we'll try to get him on. But thank you so much to the Information Commissioner and his office for stopping by. Folks, do not go anywhere. In the meantime, as we head to this commercial break, make sure you give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share the conversation with your friends, your family, your colleagues. Help us beat the algorithm with these most important community conversations as we continue to try to do our part in our community. We're going to do a daily play, and we'll wrap it up after this break. So stick with us. We'll be back in a few.
Did you know 3 out of 4 people say that they have a good understanding of life insurance? But do they really? When asked how much the yearly cost would be for a 20-year, $250,000 level term life insurance policy for a healthy 30-year-old, 80% overestimated the cost by 5 times the amount. Ready for this? The true cost for that policy is about $220 a year. That's as little as 66 cents a day, or $20 a month. So let's put this into perspective. Compared to other monthly costs, isn't getting life insurance a no-brainer? If you can trim back on some of these expenses just a little bit, it will allow you to dedicate the savings toward an affordable life insurance policy. Contact one of our life insurance agents today to find the right policy for you.
Dreaming of expanding your business? With BDC's Loan Guarantee Program, we support your ambitions. Get up to 75% guarantee on bank or credit union loans up to $300,000. Just your vision and our support. Apply today and unlock new business opportunities. BDC, Bermuda Business starts here.
Looking for the best care for your pets? Novazok Feed and Supply has everything you need, from top quality foods to toys and supplies. We've got it all. Join our frequent buyer program and earn rewards every time you shop. Plus, we've been awarded the Clever Customer Initiative program for helping you save more. And don't forget, we open an hour early on Saturdays so you can get a head start on your pet care. Visit us today or shop online for easy pickup or delivery. Your pets will thank you.
PALS is a cancer care charity. We started 45 years ago. What started as a charity with a half-time nurse, and basically just assisting patients going home from the hospital, but patients dying at home. We now, 45 years later, have 6 nurses, a social worker, and a palliative care physician. I know a lot of people that watch the Daily Hour every day, so it's just educational. It helps you know more about specific charities or specific organizations, and kind of get the nitty-gritty as opposed to just seeing a flyer on social media or just hearing or seeing a commercial. I think it's more beneficial. Like if I'm on the radio or on TV, I'm just like telling you what I think you want to know, but you might have specific questions that I can answer directly. I think it's much better having the live engagement.
All right, welcome back. Thanks again to Jason Outerbridge and everyone at the Information Commissioner's Office for trusting this platform to engage with every last one of you. Folks, there's way too many people of you watching, especially on YouTube, for there only to be 6 people who are liking and helping us beat the algorithm. So please, 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 please help us beat the algorithms by giving us a like, love, follow, share the link with your friends, your family, your colleagues. If you believe that these conversations are of need and importance in our community, then help us beat the algorithms so that everyone has access in our community to them. All right. Thanks again to the BAC group of companies, Medical House Lenders, People's Pharmacy, and HSBC for ensuring that we're able to pump through the radio airwaves on Hot 107.5 with these most important community conversations on a regular basis. Folks, it is time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. It's Bermuda Trivia today. This is an easy question. See, I was going to ask you, I couldn't ask you, but 10 years, 2015 ICO. So I'm going to throw you a little curveball. And I'll ask you this. What was the name, or prior to being renamed Dalton E. Talker, What was the school known as? Oh, you all are slow this morning. Ah, there we go. I knew someone would get it. Sheldon Fox first says Southampton Glebe. Indeed, indeed. Miss Ellen Kate Horton, Southampton Glebe. Dr. Anthony Richardson said Warwick Sack. Now that's Spice Valley. That's Spice Valley. But most people got Southampton Glebe. Siobhan Passaway, Jewel Leaves, Suzanne Ingham. See, you knew it. Southampton Glebe. We knew what you meant, Passaway. We knew what you meant. But y'all on the right page. We tricked you a bit. We tricked you. All right, folks. Gotta let you go. But I just want to say this in closing regarding the earlier conversation in the regulatory authority. I think it's easy to cheer something like that on, and it makes sense because people are looking for ways to ease the cost of living. But I think if you do have questions about what this means overall, feel free to reach out to the regulatory authority, or you can follow petty requests, as you heard. But where else would you like to see something like this happen? If that's the case, think about it. Some have mentioned Belco, some have mentioned bank fees. There are a lot of different areas, but also going back to what I believe Ms. Ellen Kate Horton said earlier, there's a role that each of us could play for ourselves in changing our cost of living or living differently. We got a message. We've got Ms. Ellen Kate Horton says, Jamal, before you close, would you mind reminding the listening public to drive with lights on today, to focus on violence in our community and the genocide in Gaza? Thank you in advance. So folks, drive with your lights on today in unity against violence in our community and the genocide in Gaza. Thank you for that, Ms. Ellen Kate Horton. All right, daily inspiration. I'll just leave you all with this, man. I think if nothing else, as a community, we have to stop waiting on others to do for us what we have the ability to do for ourselves. I don't say this to be disrespectful. I say this to be honest. No one's coming to save us. I'll leave it right there. Folks, don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindo's, People's Pharmacy, and a big shout out to HSBC Bermuda for ensuring that we pump through the radio areas with these most important community conversations. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. I'm Jamal Hartman. Please do make it a safe and a great day. We are out. Peace.